Ooh, that didn't feel authentic. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hi, my name is Ken Everett, and I'm a senior sales engineer. In the simplest way possible, I interact with city governments to design solutions with technology that can take their cities into the future using the internet and devices that connect to the internet. I think a lot of times the question that is constantly running through my head as I'm doing my job is, how can we make things easier for the humans that exist on this planet, right? Society is just in this place where we're ever connected, we're growing faster than ever, we're always on the move. How can you feel safer, more enriched, and taken care of by the technology around you? Growing up in an ethnic household, we're held to like very heavy pressures. There's this concept called like an inner saboteur. It's this voice inside of your head that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not smart enough. And I think fighting through that voice is one of the biggest battles that I'm still fighting through today. And something that has helped me along the way is understanding that success is not a finish line, because the finish line is always going to move. There's always going to be the next best thing, and understanding that there's beauty in the struggle. So being mindful and being present has helped me more than anything else. So in high school, I was a very bad student. I was angsty. I think I graduated high school with like a 2.5 GPA. My counselor said, "You're not going to school, get a trade, figure it out." And I think fuel for me is being told that I can't do something. In university, I decided that I was going to be a chemistry major. Then I was a biology major. Then I was a psychology major. And I ended up double majoring psychology and communication. And then I threw a dart at a map and I moved to South Korea. But no, that journey kind of took me into my first experience with a self-governing autonomous city, Sejong시. And that's actually where my love of science and infrastructure really was born, right? It was so cool that every single component of the city was just so interconnected. You dial a number in your phone and the website will pop up on your messages. And I felt like this was the coolest thing that I ever seen. I think I always had a natural curiosity and an innate creativity. And in the corporate environment and in business and science, creativity is almost seen as like the polar opposite of science. But in reality, it's like everyone who's a scientist is the next Picasso. You know, they're utilizing mediums the same way that an artist utilizes mediums to make something new. And I had to realize that I had to marry my creativity with my natural inquisitiveness. And that is essentially just the scientific process, right? I think honestly, what I would say to my middle school self is that though things feel like they're not clear, forward is actually the only option. So the more you do, the more you figure out, the more you enjoy the journey, the clearer things are going to become to you. So I was definitely that kid that was always really curious about how things worked. I used to take apart CD players with like the little micro screws and put them back together and look at the circuit boards, and then I got more curious, and we had a flat screen TV that was flat in the front and then it was very bulky in the back. So there was a lot of component back there, and I wanted to see what was making the TV work. You know, I'm like, what's back there? I had no idea. So I just started unscrewing things. And I'm very meticulous about it, actually. So I would just like take apart the TV and I put it back together and it still worked. So fortunately, I did not get in trouble. One of my favorite things to do on the weekend with my friends is go on the Beltline. The Beltline is not just a road, it has an entire ecosystem and infrastructure of technology that makes it go round, essentially, right? That was a 285 jib. But it is really cool because even something as simple as a pathway that has connectivity and fiber running underneath it, using technology and using science in order to provide pathways across the city and ever interconnectivity, I think that's really cool. I've always said that your most authentic self sits at the intersection of who you are today, who you ultimately want to be, and how people perceive you. So what that means is that you have to have a very, very strong idea of how you come across to others and say, well, what do I need to put more into and what do I need to kind of like maybe throttle back on in regard to getting me to where I want to be, right? But I think all of that is a journey, all of that is a process, and authenticity actually is essential because we don't want to be living in a world full of gray. We want to paint with all of the colors of the rainbow. And if you ever feel like you're not good enough, if you ever feel like you're not smart enough, just know that you have a place, you have a purpose, and you're as essential as anyone else on this planet because anything that they can do, you can do even better.